see now what's the schedule. Okay. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the first episode of Chris Checks Out 2026. We are January 16th, and it is a Friday. We are here with the Genus Technologies ServiceNow Build partner, and they're going to go over their Attachment Archiver app. This is a great app that's going to help you reduce your database size while still being able to preserve and use all of the attachments across the entire platform. So with that, I'd like to hand it off to Charlie Jacoby to start off with some introductions.
Great. Thanks so much, Chris. And thanks so much for having us on today. Happy Friday to everybody. I'm Charlie Jacoby. I lead the ServiceNow practice at Genus. And I'm joined today by three of our team members, Oleg and Nate, who are key leaders in our solution and architecture part of our practice, and then Dmitry Tove, who's one of our senior ServiceNow developers. So we're super excited to share with everyone today what we think is a pretty cool innovation in the ServiceNow space. So with that, I am going to go ahead and share my screen here. All right.
Yeah,
so got it coming up here. Great.
There you go. Oh,
okay. And I promise to keep the slideware to a minimum, and we're really going to focus on most of our time on the demo that Dmitry is going to do. So I wanted to start out by introducing the topic. As Chris mentioned, we have a product in the ServiceNow store called the Genus Attachment Archiver. It really helps with platform optimization and managing the attachments that you store in ServiceNow. So to give you, to kind of introduce the topic from like more of a data governance perspective, I think what we're all seeing tons of AI in the ecosystem today, regardless of what enterprise platforms you're working with. And I think as part of that, the ability to govern data, to get data in consumable formats, and candidly to retain data for use in AI algorithms, et cetera, is hugely important. So organizations are increasing really their focus on data governance and some of the challenge with retention policies versus needing to keep data around to feed AI algorithms and to do day-to-day enterprise digital workflow work. So with what we're offering from this capability is really an opportunity to address some of these challenges in the ServiceNow ecosystem with this what's a certified ServiceNow attachment archiving capability that allows you to retain the data that you need to retain and make sure you're in compliance with internal data retention guidelines while also being able to retain enough data to effectively run your business.
And I think you've got some content related to that on your next slide there, correct?
Oh, shoot. I'm advancing the slides.
We're seeing the slides right now. That is the one with the boxes on the side.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
Hold on.
Okay. Apologize for that. We'll reshare the screen here. Okay. It's coming up. There we are. Okay. Thank you.
So anyway, I'll re-highlight the data governance side. Apologize.
Of course. Go for it.
So yeah, as I was mentioning, just data governance is at the forefront. So this solution really helps address some of those data governance challenges and puts organizations in a good spot to deal with attachments, especially in this ServiceNow ecosystem.
Any way you can maximize that window?
Sure.
Thanks. Otherwise, here I can get.
Okay, there you go.
Oh, that's perfect. Thank you.
All right. Wow. Well, hey, one warm-up slide. Okay.
There you go. Yeah.
All right. So what we want to spend the time talking about specifically now is really the case for addressing attachments in ServiceNow. So for those working in the ServiceNow ecosystem, you're well aware that with every instance that you buy from ServiceNow, you get 4 terabytes of storage capacity per instance. And a lot of this storage, so many organizations go over this 4 terabytes, and a lot of that is driven by the sys_attachment table. which can get very large as attachments are by their nature large documents and account for a significant part of that storage. So some of the challenges around that are, of course, there's an increased cost. So when you go over the 4 TB, you're paying monthly on a per terabyte instance, and that often can be $1,000 to $1,700 per month per terabyte. Of course, that's dependent on negotiated rates with ServiceNow, but it's usually material. In addition to that, there can be some impacts on performance, especially when doing searches, et cetera. The larger the database, the more pressure on performance. I talked a little bit in the opening about compliance risks, but when we talk to customers, a lot of times people are working very hard to keep the size of the database down, the number of attachments down, and then you risk being too aggressive and maybe coming out of compliance with your document retention guidelines. So that's another risk that we look to offset. Impaired data insights. So this gets a little bit to what I was talking about in the context of AI as an example. Obviously, the less data that you have that can be part of these new AI algorithms, the lower the value of your insights. And so if cost isn't an issue and you're able to keep your attachments accessible and you're able to keep them around longer, that of course gives you those deeper, richer insights. And then what we call maintenance lag. So the larger the instance, the larger the ServiceNow instance, then upgrades get more complex and can get more lengthy. So those are some of the challenges faced when there is significant storage related to attachments. So what's the solution? So we created the Genus Attachment Archiver. Again, this is a certified offering, a ServiceNow certified offering available in the store. And what we're really able to do is to seamlessly move attachments to much more cost-effective cloud storage platforms. And we really have 4 critical cloud platforms that are packaged out of the box: Microsoft Azure, Google Cloud, AWS, and Box. And what's really cool about these alternative cloud storage capabilities is they're like $30 a terabyte. So you get a really significant reduction in cost. And the other thing that was super important to us is that we preserve the ServiceNow user experience. So the last thing you want to do is have an incident. It's an older incident. You decide you want to archive off those attachments, and then a user has to call the help desk or something if they have to do some research a year out and get those reinstated or whatever. So as you'll see from the demo, we have it's very rich user experience where you can do the archiving and then recall, and we're really preserving that rich ServiceNow user experience. So with that, we're also allowing those users easy unarchiving, and then we've got a dashboard, a very rich dashboard that captures what's been archived to date, how many attachments, the file counts by size, et cetera, et cetera. And we have a lot of flexibility to expand these dashboards based on specific business needs.
Okay, just as we got a couple people with some comments. So Jamar Garcia has said the slides look great now. So thanks a lot, Charlie. And a shout out to Saksham. It's great to see you again, and you're welcome for hosting. So thanks so much. Keep going. Sorry. Thank you.
All right. So I just wanted to give a quick picture of the application architecture of the Genus Attachment Archiver. Again, this is embedded in the ServiceNow structure and application structure. We really wanted to preserve that end user experience. So we're using the standard ServiceNow UI elements to do that. We also wanted to make sure that we could have really automated rule-based archiving. So we think archiving is going to occur less on user action, even though that is a piece of functionality that's in this capability. And it's going to be more based on rules like, hey, I want to archive all attachments on incidents that are greater than 90 days old or whatever. And we can go to sub-nested levels of specification on those rules, but very important to have that automated rules-based archiving. And then we wanted to meet customers where they're at on cloud storage, so we wanted to give a choice. And so we've got certified integration to all 4 of these that are shown on the screen here. And then finally, this is highly scalable, so can handle very, very large volumes of attachments and does that very effectively and efficiently. So with that, I'm going to stop sharing here and I'm going to turn it over to Dimitri and he's going to do a demo of the capability.
Perfect. And as we do that screen share transition, I hope I say this right. Yamara gives a shout out to Nate saying, it's great to see you here. So just wanted to make sure we covered everybody for that. So here we go. Handing over to Dimitri for the actual demo of the store app.
Hello, everybody. Do you hear me well? Just checking.
Yes.
So happy Friday to everyone. And I would like to do the demo. And this is going to be pretty quick demo, but please let me know if you have questions. You can put them on the chat and we can try to answer them later. So this is the page on the ServiceNow instance that gives you the analytics. Basically, this is the report system that provides you information about number of attachments that's been archived, number of attachments that's a size-wise, like how much space potentially saved by archiving our attachments. It also can show you the breakdowns by the file sizes, like how many files you have certain size. And it will can show you all successful archived, it is something that's in progress, something's completed, it is something that error, and it also shows some statistic if you need to restore things. So this is the basic statistics kind of in the two big numbers, like how much size we saved and how many attachments have been archived. So the archiving solution basically can be pretty easy configured to work with any table in the ServiceNow that supports attachments. And this is really pretty simple. We just enable through the configuration what tables are going to be used or available for the archiving. And for this demo, I'm going to use the service catalog tables. And let's see, so I'm going to create the new service catalog task, call it like a demo Friday 11:16. And I'm going to add some files as an attachments. Let's put like 3 invoices, for example. So, and now you can see that's the standard UI from the ServiceNow out of the box, and it will show that you have 3 attachments. So I can submit it and I can open it, and you can see your attachments that you can download. And when you enable, you can have the options to archive your attachments. In this demo, it shows that we can archive to Amazon Web Services, we can archive to Azure, Box, or Google Cloud. For this specific demo, I'm going to archive into the Azure. And when I click the archive attachments to the Azure, the attachments archiving process will be started. And for this specific scenario, I started it manually, but we can talk later how we can do it automatically.
Okay, just while we're there, I just wanted to mention that though we see 4 buttons here from the demo purpose side of things, but typically in your implementation, you would only see 1 because you're only going to archive to AWS. And in addition to that, Juan has a comment saying rule for archiving automatically. And he said, nice. So he really likes that feature. So thanks for the comment, Juan.
Okay, so now when I refresh my record, so you can see that the attachment has been successfully archived, and you can see the information about archive and attachment. I can click on the attachment link and it will show some like system information about archiving. So it kind of shows where it's archived and how it's been archived, the status, the size, and everything. You don't really have to show it to the end user if you don't need it. So this is just for the demo purposes. And this is the live demo. So I can go to my Azure account right now and refresh, this is my Azure browser for the blob storage. And as you can see, this is the record. And I added 3 attachments to the records. And you can see all 3 attachments have been archived. And I can see it's the names. And now they're available on the Azure blob storage. And you can do some other things if you want. Just use your AI to get information. Use your maybe some uh, complaints record systems to get information from the attachments or save them just in case. It's really up to you. So now if I go back to my records, and let's say I go back to the open it again. And for some reason, if I would like to see the attachments back, I can easily click on the restore attachments button. So the restoration process will be started. So when we archived, basically the attachments moved from the ServiceNow internal archiving for attachments tables and makes the space free. But now it's going to move attachments back. And if I refresh, you can see now it looks as it was before, and you can see the same like a standard ServiceNow UI, and the same will work for the portal as well and for like other UI. So basically, it takes like minutes to enable any table for archiving solution. For the automatic archiving, so we are using the flow, and this is the example of the flow that's also can be customizable, depends on what you need, and you basically just create the copy of the flow and just change it. So for this example, it starts every day at 2 p.m. and it's looking for the record. And for example, we would like to archive everything that's older than 30 days, for example. So you can put the condition, like everything that's older than 30 days needs to be archived. And inside also you can put additional conditions, like for example, you can specify where you want it to archive using the profile. It could be Azure, it could be Google Cloud. So just specify the parameter, and you can specify the size. Like for example, you don't want it to archive anything smaller than certain size, or you want it to archive everything, and that's the flow will start automatically and creates archiving automatically for users. So the users don't need to do anything, but later if somebody wants to see the record, they can find it. And if they wanted to see attachments, they can restore it and they can have access to them. And this is pretty much the demo. Any questions?
Don't have any questions in the chat, but just wanted to say thank you. This is excellent. And while this was a faster demo, it shows the elegance of the solution. And I can already see how I would not have to spend weeks implementing this. So on average, Dimitri, how long do you think it takes to implement this for a net new customer?
So I'm it's really we're talking about like a day time frame. Like if everything is ready, assuming that you have uh, your cloud storage set up, accounts created, the everything is ready, then it takes like a day or less for the ServiceNow configuration. So what we found that the biggest challenge is like you have to work with the cloud people. They need to open certain firewall ports. They need to add some rules. So they need to allow ServiceNow to talk to your cloud.
Mhm.
That's the biggest problem that we face so far. For the ServiceNow part, it's, as I said, it's like a day or less.
Great, thank you. We do actually now have a question from Juan. So Juan's asking, some clients add security to attachments to HR cases due to confidentiality. Could that work the same way with this feature? So how does the attachment archiver work for sensitive attachments or attachments that contain sensitive data?
Yeah. On this one, Oleg, do you have some initial thoughts on this?
So I can answer this question. So the attachments are going
Okay.
to be stored in a cloud, and you can secure by configuring your cloud storage. So you can support like a multiple, if you're talking about Azure, like storage accounts, and you can specify who can access to what. So that it doesn't mean everything needs to be in the same storage account or same part of the cloud. So through the profiles, you can specify where it should go. So for the sensitive information, it could be goes to the account that's really locked on your cloud storage.
So you
Yeah.
would still have ServiceNow security manage access
Yes.
to the ServiceNow records and the
Hmm.
attachments in ServiceNow, and then you would target specific folders in your cloud storage using specific accounts to manage the security on that side. Most likely, you would already have that set up. So if you have an HR cloud storage folder, you should have your proper security and governance around that so that someone from IT can't get into those files regardless if they're connected to ServiceNow or not. Okay.
Yeah, and just one more comment. We had this specific example with a company where they wanted to take their HR related attachments and put them into one cloud storage entity and then take their IT related attachments and put those into a different entity. And those had different security access points associated with those. So, yep.
Excellent. Okay. Well, thank you for the question, Juan. In addition to that, let's talk a bit more about Genus, the company. So, can you give us a bit of background on the company itself, as well as perhaps some other things that you may have in the works?
Yeah, sure. I'll take it and then I'll ask for any additional input.
Mhm.
So, Genus Technologies has been around over 20 years. Long history of helping clients resolve pain points, issues, and bring strategic solutions to them. We had a significant focus on enterprise content management and really working with companies on digital documents, large documents, document repositories, et cetera, and figuring out the best way to manage those. So we have partnerships with IBM and Nuxio and other and Tungsten Automation and other key software platforms that deal a lot with content management. And then we also have significant experience bringing that content to life through intelligent automation. So really, the concept of digital enterprise using digital workflows and really, enabling documents and harvesting the data out of those to get those into workflows. We have been a ServiceNow partner for about 4 years now. And we're very, very focused on the finance and supply chain workflows, like think source to pay, finance process automation, and those flows, because we have both functional and technical experience, deep functional and technical experience in that domain, deal with a lot of accounts payable invoices in our previous content management lives, and have brought a lot of automation in that space. And so it was a natural fit with one of the newer ServiceNow products and workflows. Actually, that finance and supply chain workflow set is newer. You'll continue to see a lot of things from Genus and the ServiceNow ecosystem around that domain, as well as we do a significant amount of work across all of our practices with integrations. And so we have a significant integration with SAP and ServiceNow. So you're able to see this kind of brings to life the ServiceNow as a system of action and ERPs, as an example, like SAP as a system of record. So we're really able to modernize that user experience using ServiceNow's modern interface, and then but not have to rip and replace the ERP and have the data move back and forth. A great example of this is if you think about managing suppliers at a company, having the portal capability for suppliers to come in and self-serve. They can't easily do that on SAP, so use ServiceNow for that. But then when information gets updated by suppliers, demographics, et cetera, you want that then to seamlessly flow from ServiceNow into SAP as a system of record. So you could expect to see a lot from us in that kind of finance and supply chain workflow and integration space.
Well, it's pretty exciting. So we'll have you back on a future episode to check that out when it's available. In the meantime, though, let's say someone wants to get in touch with you to purchase the attachment archiver. How would they do that?
Yeah. So let me pull this up. Let me recap real quick. So you guys, everybody can see the screen, right?
It's coming up. Just
That's
give me a
good.
second.
Oh, there you go.
There
Okay.
we, yeah.
Just a little delay. All right. So to summarize the Genus Attachment Archiver, so you hopefully you saw there's a significant opportunity here for recurring cost savings. Also, easier compliance with data retention policies. We really think improved application performance will be a key point, and then really preserving your user experience, so no negative impact there. And then this is certified by ServiceNow, so it's fully operational through the release that you're on, et cetera. So hopefully that gives people a feeling of comfort that it's we've been through the pretty rigorous process to get it certified by ServiceNow. So then, Chris, to your final question here, or your final point, if anybody's interested, please reach out. You can see my contact information here. You can shoot me an email. You can reach out. That's my mobile number. So call me, give me a text, or if you want more information, we also have a lot on our genustechnologies.com website. And we have some customer stories out there, et cetera. So feel free to utilize any of those resources, and we would love to hear from you.
Great. And I'll put the contact information minus the phone number in the descriptions and in a follow-up post. We have one last minute question from Juan. Will you be at K26?
Yes, we will be.
Will you have a booth? How do we find you there?
Yeah, we've been to Knowledge the last 3 years, and we have not had a booth. We haven't decided if we're going to have a booth, but feel free. We're very active on LinkedIn, so feel free to reach out at the information that Chris or that we have on the screen here, and I'm happy to set up a time and connect. That'd be great to see everybody at Knowledge.
Yeah, definitely. And I do the LinkedIn versions of Meetups at Knowledge as well. So hope to see you
Oh,
there,
great.
Juan. Okay. Well, thank you very much again. This is the first episode in 2026. We are January 16th for the podcast Chris Checks Out. We've checked out Genus Technologies ServiceNow store app called the Attachment Archiver. Go ahead and check it out in the store and make sure that you reach out to Genus Technologies for the next steps on how you can get this into your instance and start seeing the value out of it. Okay. Thank you so much, and I appreciate everybody spending time with us today. Hope you have a great day and an even better weekend. Thanks a lot. Talk to you soon.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks, Chris.